The first light of dawn breaks over the great house at Cullenwood. A Cullenwood that has been victimized by creatures of the supernatural. On the night that has just passed, one such creature, a werewolf, has been captured and placed in a cell in the Cullensport jail. And now, with the arrival of dawn, a horror-stricken Edward Collins watches a strange and frightening transformation from a beast to a man.
I've never seen you before. Who are you? Answer me! What is the matter with you? Don't you have a tongue in your head? I demand to know who you are! What are you doing here?
I don't understand.
Understand what?
You were right.
It appears that I've been right about a good many things, doesn't it?
What do you mean?
You've known of this creature all along. You know who he is, don't you?
No!
You're lying.
Think what you want.
If you're not lying, then why are you here?
I'm curious, just like you are.
There's more to your visit than just curiosity. Who is this man?
I'm shocked by his appearance, just like you are.
I don't believe you for a minute.
If you want to know who he is, ask him.
I have. He is either unable or unwilling to answer me.
From the look of him, I say unable.
Yes. On that we agree. What a pity that he can't speak. Because if he could, I'm convinced that he could tell us something about you.
You don't know nothing about me.
Let me give you a word of advice, Magda. Now that we've found him, it's just a question of time before we get Barnabas and destroy him. If you want to do yourself some good, you will stop fighting us and start helping us.
If you are trying to buy information, I ain't got none.
Think it over. I'll be at Collinwood the rest of the day, in case you change your mind. Are you staying?
For a minute.
Your curiosity hasn't been satisfied.
No, not yet.
I see. If you manage to find a way to communicate with him, you might tell him that his days are numbered.
Quentin. Quentin, look at me. Do you understand nothing that happened?
Forest, near Arsdon. They took me there.
Don't even know who you are or who I am. I've got to make you understand.
There were 9 of them. 9 gypsies.
Quentin. Quentin, listen to me. You're changed. You're different because of the hand.
The hand.
Yes, Quentin. Edward, he didn't recognize you. Your secret is still safe, Quentin. All we got to do is find a way to get you out of here.
9 gypsies standing around the fire, closing in on me.
It's no use. You don't even know what I'm talking about. Go to Barnabas. I tell him what happened. He will know what to do.
It was the most incredible thing I've ever seen in my life. At the crack of dawn, all of his animal features changed, and he'd suddenly turned into a man. The most grotesque man I've ever seen. Judith, are you listening to me?
Yes?
But you haven't spoken a word or reacted to a thing I've said.
I'm glad they caught the animal.
Is that all you have to say?
I'm sorry, Edward. I have something else on my mind.
Something more important than the apprehension of this madman who almost killed you?
All right, Edward. The animal's been apprehended, and we're all safe. But must we discuss it for the rest of the day?
Well, I think it's a subject that warrants some discussion.
Yes, but not to the point of being morbid.
Morbid? What is the matter with you this morning?
Nothing.
Well, if that's absurd, of course there's something matter. What is it? Have you been having second thoughts about this ridiculous marriage of yours?
No, it could not be that. My marriage was not a mistake.
Give it time.
I will, Edward. With the full knowledge that if it fails, it was no more ridiculous than yours.
Touché. Now, if you care to tell me what was troubling you, dear sister.
I had a disturbing dream last night, that's all.
A dream? What about?
I'd rather not talk about it.
Perhaps it would be better if you told me.
Edward, will you please leave me alone?
Very well, Judith. I'll be in my study if you need me.
If I told him the dream was about Minerva Trask, he would have laughed. Why should I dream about Minerva? Why? And what was it she was trying to tell me? Danger. The Queen of Spades. That's all she kept saying. Danger. The Queen of Spades. What was she talking about? What did she mean? I've got to stop thinking about it. It was just a dream. It means nothing.
Judith, what's wrong?
Edward. Those cards on the table. They weren't there when we were talking just now.
No. No, they weren't.
Edward. I haven't been out of this room since you went to your study. How did they get there?
I don't know. Judith, what are you doing?
Queen of Spades. She's calling me.
Judith, what are you saying?
She wants me to go to her.
Judith. Judith, where are you going? Come back here!
I have come to you. What is it you want to tell me? Why did you call me here?
Judith. Judith, what in heaven's name are you doing out here?
This is where she appeared in the dream.
Where who appeared?
She's here now.
Minerva Trask.
Yes.
Have you taken leave of your senses?
She's trying to tell me something, just as she did in the dream.
Shall I give you a sane and rational explanation for that dream?
Edward.
Your dream is nothing more than a manifestation of your own guilt.
Guilt?
Of marrying Trask so soon after his wife died.
That's not true.
Judith, I insist that you come home to Collingwood.
I must stay here. Go away, Edward. You're not wanted here.
Will you stop
I'm the one that's wanted.
talking nonsense?
I'm the one.
Judith, are you all right? Judith, I've got to get you home and call a doctor. Judith, please come with me.
I will thank you to call me Mrs. Trask.
Judith, please come home to Collingwood.
I will come home when I am ready. I know what must be done. I know now.
What are you doing here?
I was looking for Beth.
I haven't seen her all day. Excuse me. Give me 453.
Hello?
Evan, this is Edward Collins. I want you to get over here as quickly as you can.
To, Collinwood?
Yes.
Why? Is something wrong?
Something is very wrong.
Well, can you tell me what it is?
My sister Judith may be in the process of losing her mind. How soon can you get here?
I'm not sure that I can get there at all today.
Evan, I need your help and advice. It's very urgent.
Yes, I'm sure it is, but
Well, you're the family lawyer, aren't you?
Yes, of course. But I have a list of appointments this afternoon, Edward. I don't see how I can clear them on such short notice.
Then I'll tell you how. I consider this an emergency. You will either get here this afternoon, or I shall look for another lawyer in the morning.
Mr. Edward, what is wrong?
Nothing that concerns you. Why were you looking for Beth?
Nothing important. She asked me to read her card sometime, that's all.
Why?
I don't know. I guess she wants to look into the future.
Have you given any thought to what I spoke to you about this morning?
Yes, I thought it over.
And?
If I could help you find Barnabas, Mr. Edward, I would. But unfortunately, I can't.
Perhaps the future you should be concerned about is your own.
Gypsies are not like other people, Mr. Edward. You have your little crises, and they're very upsetting. Our lives are one long, continuous crisis. We know it. We deal with it. We always survive it.
Who is this woman? What is she doing here? Well, isn't one of you going to speak up?
You're making a joke, yes?
I do not make jokes, madam. We run a very proper school here.
School?
You don't feel well, huh?
I am feeling fine. If you came in answer to that ad that we placed in the paper, you're wasting your time. I do not like the way you dress. Jewelry is hideous. Send her away.
What has happened to her?
Judith!
And I want you to find my daughter and tell her I want to see her.
Judith! What the devil are you talking about? You don't have a daughter.
Well, of course I do. And I wish you'd stop calling me Judith. My name is Minerva, but you may address me as Mrs. Trask.
Well, I see you decided to do the intelligent thing.
Edward, I'm terribly sorry about my hesitation over the telephone.
Mr. Hanley!
What the devil is the matter with you?
Nothing,
What are you staring at?
nothing.
Then will you please leave us alone?
Of course. Of course. Good afternoon, Mr. Hanley.
Good afternoon, Magda. You're looking well.
Thank you. You are too.
Now, may I ask what this is all about?
My sister has been experiencing some sort of aberration ever since this morning.
Aberration.
Well, that's the only word I can find to describe it. It all apparently started with a dream she had last night about the first Mrs. Trask. Next, she began to think she was being haunted by the woman. And now?
Well, now what?
She is convinced she is the first Mrs. Trask.
Good Lord. Are you sure?
Well, of course I'm sure. I've spent most of the day with her.
Well, now tell me exactly how has she been behaving? I mean, in what way is this delusion manifesting itself?
She thinks she's Mrs. Trask. That's all I can tell you. Besides the fact that I'm terribly troubled about her state of mind.
I see.
And of particular concern to me is the possibility of Trask taking over this house if Judith is not in her right mind.
Well, now, you don't think it's gone that far, do you?
I'm not sure. But if it is, it's your duty to see that we are all legally protected.
Oh, well, yes, of course.
Very well. I'll take you in to see her now.
Now, Edward, I'd like to see her alone, if it's all right with you.
Alone? Why?
Well, I just think it will be easier for me to evaluate the situation without a third party in the room.
Oh, very well. I'll be in my study when you're finished.
Mr. Hanley, I got to talk to you.
You and I have nothing to say to each other, gypsy.
Mr. Hanley, you're very lucky. Your face has been restored. How did it happen, huh?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Was it the hand?
You're wasting your time, Magda. I'm never going to tell you.
I don't ask you for me. It's because of Quentin.
Quentin?
Yes. Yes. Last night there was a full moon. He changed into a werewolf again. The police caught him and put him in the Collinsport jail.
Then he changed back this morning and they know who he is.
No. No, because the hand done to him what it did to you. He is not recognizable. But if your face is back to normal now, then his will be too. And then they will recognize him. That is why we got to help him.
Well, you've come to the wrong man. I have no intention of any further involvement with Quentin. And I have no desire to do anything that would help you. Judith, I'd like to talk to you for a moment. May I sit down?
You. You are the one.
What are you talking about?
You are the one.
Judith, I don't understand.
You made Timothy Shaw poison me.